Hello everybody, welcome to the Stop, Drop, and Knit podcast. My name is Lisa and today I am going to share with you everything that I knit in 2023. As you can see, I've got a big pile of finished objects in my lap right now. So I'm going to take a second and reorganize all this stuff, and I am going to walk you through everything that I finished in 2023. So this is not going to include any of my WIPs, so no works in progress here, just things that actually have been entirely, completely finished. This video is always one of my absolute favorites to record. I think it's just really, really fun seeing everything all together in one place. Even when I have a year where I feel like I haven't done much knitting, once I get everything together, I suddenly feel like, okay, yeah, I actually did knit quite a bit. Even if I wasn't at it every single day and went weeks without knitting anything and months without recording about my knitting, I still accomplished quite a bit, and I have been really, really busy. So I wanted to remind you all about a goal that I had set out for myself last year, and that was to knit 23 items in the year 2023, to actually finish those items, not just knit them. And I kind of failed at my own goal. So I tallied everything up, and I'm actually coming in with only 15 finished objects this year. So only 15 in 23, not 23. Yeah, kind of 2/3 of the way there, if my math is right. Let me see. I just kind of spit that out without thinking about it. So yeah, if we say there's 24, 8, close enough. Yeah, about 2/3 of the way there. So I'm going to share with you the 15 things that I managed to finish. And actually, some of these have doubles. Like, there's some socks. Obviously, I had to knit 2. There's a pair of mitts. Also had to knit 2. So maybe I'm not quite as far off from that goal as I thought, but I kind of count a pair as being a finished object. So 2 is completely finished, 1 is a half finished object. So yeah, let's just get into it. I have so many things to share with you today. Okay, so I wrote it all down. I've got my list so that I could just go in order of what I finished. And last month I went month by month. I didn't bother going and writing down what month I finished anything in. I just kind of went through and found everything that I finished, and that was pretty easy because I usually post about it. And yeah, so the very first thing I actually can't show you because it's a pair of socks for myself, and I wore them probably last week, so they're sitting dirty in my laundry basket. So the first thing I just don't have, I didn't want to dig out stinky socks, but I made an exact matching pair for Owen. So you guys can just envision what mine looked like, because they looked like this, just a little bit bigger. Although his feet now are very close to being the same size as mine. So pretty soon, I guess we could still make matching socks, but we could probably just swap socks pretty soon. So there's that. But this first finished object, so this is numbers 1 and 2, or 3 and 4 if you're going to count each individual sock, but I'm not. So these are just some plain vanilla socks. His might be an actual half pint socks pattern. I can't remember. But I know that the ones that I knit for myself were just no pattern, just a plain old cuff down vanilla sock. But the yarn is super fun. So you guys all know I love my Knitterly Things yarn. And this was a set called Holiday Magic. and I just love it. It's kind of like a gray in the background with red and green Christmas stripes, and then kind of that Grinchy green, and there's speckles all over it. I love these socks so much. So those I finished pretty early in the year. I think the order, oh, these are really cute. The order of the stripes, I never make them exact matching twins, so these are fraternal twin socks. I just think socks are more fun that way. I don't tend to be matchy-matchy, but yeah, so that's what I did. So Owen and I both have a pair of Holiday Magic socks. The yarn is by Knitterly Things, and I just love them. So that was number 1 and number 2. Number 3 was a big finish. Let me dig it out here. I don't do too many test knits anymore, but this first sweater here was a huge test knit that I did for Catherine Clark, and she is from Brooklyn General. Love is the Making. Why am I struggling over that? I want to say her Instagram is Love is the Making. If I'm wrong, whatever, if I'm right or wrong, it'll be on the screen. But I test knit her Good Day Sunshine sweater. So, oh my goodness, this was really fun. It was a beast. It was huge. I love it so much. This fits like a comfy sweatshirt. I'm not going to put it on here, but I'll insert some pictures. I did a really fun photo shoot in front of a sunshine mural, which is on a wall right outside my local yarn shop in Huntington, New York. But her design has this split hem, so the fit is really great, and it splits in the center back hem too. It is just so great. I don't remember what the blue yarn was, come to think of it. I do have all of the information for the yarns that I used and all of that stuff in my Ravelry project pages. My Ravelry is LisaJack78, and my Instagram at Lisa Westervelt Flute Studio. So that's where you can find more about most of these projects. Not quite everything is up there, but you know, I do my best to keep those things updated. So I do know that the changing stripe color was Spin Cycle, and I want to say that it was a special color made for Catherine Clark for this design. I want to say it was maybe called Luna Moth, but that might be completely wrong. It was a while ago. I believe I also finished this in January. So this was a huge project that got finished really early on. So I want to say I started it in December and it was finished in the new year. So that is my first big sweater. All right, and then I went on and knit a nice small project. So also using Spin Cycle, I wanted to try the new yarn that they released sometime last spring, last fall, last spring, don't remember which. But it's called Trine, and it's a Spin Cycle yarn, and basically it is a 3-ply. I don't remember what color number this one is. Again, I think that information should be on my Ravelry. But the pattern is the Roku hat, and I'll put the designer on the screen because I didn't write that down. But it's like, it should fit me too, but I made this for Owen, and I don't know. These hats I always think are kind of funny with all the extra hat on the head, but it looks so cute on him. I'm just not used to all the hattiness up here. I think that when Owen wears it, I'm pretty sure that he wears it with the brim folded like this. So it's super cute. And I do want to make him coordinating mittens with the little bit that I have left over. I don't know that I have enough of the yarn left over to make full mittens, but usually what I'll do with his leftover hat yarn is use the color of the hat for the cuff and then do like a solid, so I could probably do like black or something, would go really well with this for the actual hand part of the mittens, so that he'll have a nice matching set. So I love this yarn, and I actually used this for another sweater project for Owen, which you'll see a bit later. So that is another small thing, as I probably just messed up my hair. The next up was such a satisfying finish for me, because this was a test knit that I started a few years ago, and it was lingering in my unfinished pile for, I want to say, 2 years before it got all the way finished. This was a slow knit. I'm trying to remember which side is the front, which one is the back, but it's beautiful. I am so glad that I powered through this sweater. This one is called Artist's Journey, and it's a test knit that I did for Annie Lupton. And there's only a few of us who tested for her, and out of the few that tested, I don't believe everybody finished it even. It was a really, really slow knit, and that's because in addition to having 3-color work in many of these stripes, in the speckled yarn here, I'm kind of poking my finger through here, you can see that there's also a twisted stitch texture, and you have to use a one by one like twisty cable thing. Because this was such a slippery yarn, I had to use a cable needle for it because it wasn't sticky. The yarn is a superwash, so it wasn't going to, I didn't trust it to hold, and it was very intricate, and oh my gosh, it was slow. And so I lost steam so much, but it's so lovely. And I have worn this a few times already, and this sweater actually makes me really, really happy. I think a lot of that is the colors that I chose. So all of this yarn is Wonderland yarns, and again, I should have that information in my Ravelry project page, I believe. So I used mini skeins for all of the color work, and I think it was 6 colors of contrasting colors and 1 main color. And I had purchased a double of an 8-pack mini skein set. So two units. Does that make sense? Like, it's an 8 skein mini skein set, but the yardage wasn't enough for what I needed, so I purchased 2 of them. So I used all but 2 colors from that. I just love this so much. It's such a happy, colorful, fun sweater. And most importantly is it's now finished after a few years, and I actually can wear it, which is the best part. The fit is beautiful. It's perfect. And yeah, I think that's all I've got to say about this one. So that felt like another huge weight off of my shoulders. Not that knitting is a weight, but when you've got these long projects that have been sitting for a long time staring at you like, when are you gonna finish me? It felt really good, really, really good to get that one done. So I've got another small one next, and that is these socks that I knit for Owen. They're so cute. This was a yarn, I want to say it was a Madelinetosh yarn, but it was from like deep in my stash. I want to say 2012 about, so more than 10 years ago. But I'm so happy that I finally made him some socks with it. And I just used contrasting mini skeins in orange and blue just to bring out the orange and blue. Let's see, get my face off there. There you go. Yeah, just to bring out the little micro stripes in that. I just think these are so fun. So yeah, that was a super easy thing. I think the pattern for these definitely was the half pint socks pattern. So that's just one that I go to all the time for him. Although now that his feet are getting bigger, probably can just go into some regular size socks pretty soon. The next one, I think this is where I started hitting my roadblock, honestly, with the knitting momentum. Because while I love, love, love the finished object, it took me a while to get this the way that I wanted it to be and a fit that I was happy with. And I redid some things several times. And so I am talking about my Feel the Bern sweater. Now, the Feel the Bern sweater is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter, and this is a free design that she put out several years ago. I want to say probably 2020, whenever the election was, and Bernie Sanders was sitting there with his mittens, and I had knit my husband some Bernie mitts a couple of years ago. Maybe last year I finished that, don't remember, 1 or 2 years ago. But this has been sitting in my queue ever since. And all of these yarns I naturally dyed with black walnut. So it's just a really, really special sweater. It's a worsted weight sweater, so a lot of similar shades can be found in my shop right now, actually. But the main brown color is this middle one, this chocolatey brown. And then the lighter tan is the exhaust bath from that brown. And then the darker brown there is what happens when you take this brown and dunk it in an iron water, a rust water dip for a brief amount of time after you do the main dyeing. And then of course the cream, the white, was just undyed. So one natural dye source gave me all the beautiful colors for this sweater. And let's see, this pattern was a freebie, and I'm pretty sure that she based it off of her Soldotna tee, because it was originally a short sleeve cropped sweater. Now, my body does not agree with cropped sweaters. I don't feel so comfortable in them. So, and also because this is a worsted weight yarn, it felt really silly to me to knit short sleeve version, because I felt like I would really have to layer it to get proper use out of it, because you just can't really wear a short sleeve worsted weight sweater in New York. I'm on Long Island. Yeah, it's, you're going to be too cold in the winter, but you're going to be way too hot in the spring or the summer. These colors are obviously like fall, winter colors. It's just not like a summery kind of sweater. So the crop design and the short sleeves didn't feel right. And I just remember, so I lengthened the body a little bit so that it wasn't cropped. And it took me a while to decide how I wanted to do the sleeves. So I didn't write it down. I think I pretty much just knit without, I want to say I didn't really do decreases. I know that I did start out by trying to do a fitted sleeve, and then I made it too short, and yeah, I just had to rip it out. So I knit the sleeve a total of 3 times, and it just kind of killed the mojo, just like ripping it back and doing it again and just trying to sort it out. But when it's all said and done, I love this sweater. It's really warm. I'm so proud of it because I persisted, and it's using my own naturally dyed yarn. So this is also a shop sample, but I wear it all the time, but I bring it with me if I need to show it off to people when talking about my yarns. And I'm so proud of it. I love the way that the brown colors look on me, and Yeah, so I'm glad I persisted. I just wanted to show you the cuff detail that I did because, again, it was just originally a short sleeve design with, I think, just a little bit of ribbing. So I just took that chevron pattern and added it at the cuffs of the sleeves. And I love it so much. And I think I finished that. Oh, I don't remember what month it was. I want to say it was March or maybe even early April. Yeah. At that point, I had already finished then 7 things, and I was feeling really, really good about the progress I was making to my knit 23 and 23. I had, after that, a really, really quick, fun knit. This was knit in April, around Easter time, and this is the Good Bunny pattern by Susan B. Andersen, and this was a little kit that I bought. I actually bought 2 of them so that they had like different color clothes and different color bunnies, and I now have 2 bunnies of my own, so I need to make the matching bunny, but it's so cute. She's got like this little dress and like a little skirt and then little pants, and there are also some winter accessories, but I have not knit those up yet. But now that it's winter, I think Bunny could use some proper accessories. I'm pretty sure there was like a little hat with a pom-pom and a little shawl, and so, so cute. So yeah, so these first 8 projects were done by April. So I was a third of the way there, a third of the way into the year, right? So I had 8 projects done by April, which is 4 months in. It was going perfectly. And then we really started to slow down. Number 9 is another fun sweater. So this is the Effervescent by Aimee Sher, and this graced the cover of one of the Pom Pom magazines. This one was a real stop, drop, and knit project. And so when I talk about a stop, drop, and knit project, you know, that's the name of my podcast, Stop, Drop, and Knit. And people ask me, where did you get that name? How did you come up with it? Really, I think every once in a while, I come across a project that maybe no matter what else I'm working on, I have to just stop and drop everything and knit it up right away. And I couldn't exactly do that with this one because I had to wait for the pattern to be released. I had to order the yarn for it. But this is an example of one of those projects. And I had cast it on like as soon as I got the yarn and the pattern was out and I had the magazine, I had it all ready to go. And I think the momentum with this one, so it just kind of killed it. And I'm looking, I have a little snag. I feel like the little snag here was from a bunny claw. Probably Felix. So I'm gonna have to mend that a little bit. But, so this one, you knit it bottom up. And it's a very, I'm gonna hold it upside down for a second. It's very, very boxy. Very boxy. So it's also, I think, was knit on size 4 needles. Fingering weight yarn, size 4 needles, which I've done before, but for some reason, the boxiness of this and working bottom up, it was just this sea of endless stockinette in the round for so long. And then it just got pushed in a corner. So this is another one that lingered into 2023. I think I started it in 22 because I think it came out whenever like the March, April issue of Pom Pom came out, I want to say in 22. So I started it and then it just took forever. But eventually we got it done. I think I picked it up again as the weather was transitioning from winter to spring. And I want to say that I got this done maybe in June sometime. So by the time it was finished, we were kind of starting to ease into summer a bit, and it just wasn't really the weather to wear it yet. So I have worn this on a podcast. I did a little photo shoot with it, but I actually have not yet worn this one out in the wild, in the world. And yeah, so this spring I will look forward to that, because even when at the end of the summer, when you're transitioning into that fall weather, because of the colors that I chose, these pastel neons, which, all right, let's talk about the pastel neons for a second. So the yarn that I used is the yarn Wandering Flock, and it's the same yarn company from Brooklyn that Aimee Sher used in her design. It's just a different colorway. The colorway I used was Cosmic Tie-Dye, and you can see it's a singles fingering weight, and then that fun ruffle was mohair. So I still have a ton of this mohair left, so I need to figure out what project. I think I have an idea what I want to use that for. The lace pattern, which I think was based on boba tea, super fun to knit. So, you know, by the time I got to the yoke, it actually went very quickly. But even after, like, the construction was just different from what I had done, because you knit bottom up until the yoke, and then you put it on hold while you knit each of the sleeves. So again, you're not yet ready to do the yoke because you still have to do the sleeves. And then, as you can see, like the yoke, the beautiful lace design goes across both the sleeves and the body. So you can't even get to that until after you've joined all of that endless boring stockinette together. So this one, it was a slog. Not gonna lie, this one was a total slog. But I think it's fun and it's whimsical, which is exactly what I like. This is gonna be really fun to pull out in the spring, and I'm really looking forward to wearing it. So that was number 9. So now we're halfway through the year, and I've only managed to knit one other project. And finish it. I was working on other things, but nothing got finished. And then, okay, in August, I remember this was August, early August, I had another lingering whip, and I brought this with me on a trip to Phoenix. And I brought this because it's not wool, or at least not 100% wool. There's wool in it, but there's also silk in it and sparkle, and I don't remember what else, but I was going to Phoenix in August, and if you guys remember the heat wave of the summer, it was 115 degrees when I was in Phoenix. So yeah, I brought this. I worked on this on the plane and at the flute convention that I was at, and this thing was huge, and it's not perfect. I messed up at some point, but this is called the Going Somewhere shawl, and the place that I went while working on it was Phoenix. And it was already halfway done by the time I started. This is never gonna all go on the screen, but basically you start at one end and then you increase, 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 and you alternating 2 different types of yarn. So this unicorn base here is really super drapey, and you're alternating that solid color. Well, it's not completely solid. It's got stuff in it. But that one green, you're alternating with a Blossoms cake, which is a color-changing gradient yarn that changes from this light green in the color that I got to brown gradually throughout the shawl. And the design changes too, so that instead, like once you're halfway through, then you only increase on one side. And I don't know, I messed up at some point. Don't remember where. Don't care. It's just huge and wraps around you and nobody's going to see it anyway. Yeah, and so this thing is huge and I really, really, really like it. I finished it, I want to say I finished it maybe in early September or late August, somewhere around there. And yeah, I wore it. I brought it to work. I wore it and yeah, now it's kind of sitting again, but I could wear it. It's actually a very, very lightweight shawl because it's not all wool. It's got a lot of different lightweight fiber contents in it. And yeah, I really, really, really like the finished object. It's just another one of those things that took forever. It took so long. Why do I do all of these projects that take such a long time? I think in 2024, I'm going to have to start choosing just a few big term projects and get all of these really long ones. It's just, I don't know, space them out a little bit more and have more short, quick wins, right? So that I can get to that number faster. I mean, it's not really about getting to a number, but honestly, I just really like knitting, and I think if I had a few things that were smaller projects, then I would feel more productive, and then they could be good breaking points for some of these longer term projects and help break up the monotony of some of it a little bit. Okay, and then the next one, let's see. So that was number 10. Number 11 was a sweater that I made for Owen, and I was really proud that I got this done in time for his 4th grade school pictures. So this is the Flax sweater by Tincan Knits, and it's a free pattern. It is a beautiful pattern. Tincan Knits, if you've never knit their patterns, you need to, because they are super size inclusive. This sweater ranges from itty bitty baby, like probably 12 months, probably we'll say like 1 year old, until like, you know, much extended sizes. Like there's a size for everybody. It's a super simple design. They give you, it's a great like simple beginner's pattern. If you've never knit a sweater before, they give you 2 options for beginning the sweater. I chose option 2, which was to cast on beneath the ribbing because I wanted to use a contrasting color, and just, I mean, I could have started it still with the ribbing and just changed colors, but it's just a more stable, slightly more stable neckline the way that they had you do it. And so I used Spin Cycle Trine. Again, I don't remember the colorway, but it's just so beautiful. I had chosen this color because at the time, Owen's favorite colors were orange and blue. Now his favorite colors are pink, purple, and teal. But he still likes this. He still wears it. He wore it with a big smile on his face for his school pictures, which we still have to order, I believe. I don't think we've ordered them yet. We should get on that. Yeah, we need to order those because I hand knit a sweater for those pictures. So we don't get them every year just because, but yeah, it was super fun. So it's mostly stockinette, but there's this garter stitch panel on the sleeves, and he looks so stinking cute in it. I just really, really like it. He's only worn it that once. I just have to put him in it more often. But yeah, usually either he or my husband get him dressed, and it's just not the thing that they reach for. So I think at some point I need to just pull it out and put it on him again so that it gets more than just that one wearing. So that was number 11. Let's do number 12, which this sweater didn't happen until October. So here we are, October, last 3 months of the year, and I'm only now at item number 12. I knew I wasn't going to make my goal, because at that point it was just like, oh. So, okay, so this is a fun one. If you guys have been following my Instagram, and I mean, I haven't recorded too many podcasts since October. I think just two, the last two where I would have even talked about it. But if you've been following Instagram, then you will already know about the natural dye collaboration that I've been doing with my friend Tabitha over at Long Island Yarn and Farm. She saw that I set up my shop as a legitimate business with a name and a tax ID number and all that fun stuff, and a website and like a shop where you can actually finally purchase my yarn. That was honestly my biggest finished object of 2023, was finally getting that shop, which was like 2 years in the making, up and running, and it's amazing. I'm so happy that I finally did that. So my website is stopdropandknit.com, so you can find the shop there. But she contacted me and reached out to do a collaboration once she saw that I had this new thing going, and our friendship goes back 10 years, and so she was just really eager to support me. And so what we decided to do was, for 1 year, every month, I am dyeing 20 skeins of her yarn, and we're having this little, like, she puts a kit together. All of the dye materials that I use are foraged on Long Island, where I'm from. I go out and collect them myself. And so we're focusing every month on a different dye material from somewhere on Long Island that I can forage myself. And I take 20 skeins of her yarn, whatever base she gives me, and then she finds some other small Long Island business to support and purchases something, local to go along with it. So we kind of have a theme for every month. And so the first month, the color that I did was kind of reminiscent of pumpkin spice latte, which kind of was a joke between her and her office mate. And one of them loves it, one of them hates it. So it's a thing in their office. So I had visited Sunken Forest on Fire Island and was able to forage some sassafras bark from trees that had fallen down and, were just falling on the ground. So, no trees were harmed in the process. You always want to make sure that it's ethically foraged and collected. So I had sassafras bark, and I dyed Tabitha's yarn this beautiful color, orange, which this color really reminds me of butternut squash. But I found this pumpkin pattern, and this pattern is called Hello Gourdgeous. And it comes in 2 sizes. This was the larger of the 2 sizes. I just wanted to use as much of the yarn as possible. And now I've got this cute little pumpkin that is just a really cute decorative item for my home in the fall months. So I love it because I can use it during the Halloween season, but also it carries all the way through Thanksgiving season, right up until you get those Christmas decorations out. So this was another special project because it's the very first month of the collaboration yarn that I did with Tabitha. It's my own hand-dyed yarn. It's her yarn. It's just really, really special. So I'll put a link to her website where you can find out more about our collaboration. If you're interested in that, I'll have that in the description box below the video. But so this was number, what did I say? 12, right? And now we're in October. Yeah, so let's see. What is next? Okay. And then, yeah, we're like down to it here, you guys. We are down to it. Okay. So, along with my naturally dyed yarns, I had gotten a new base in my shop, which was 100% baby alpaca. And I dyed a whole different colorway collections of mini skein sets. So those are all in my shop. A bunch of those are still available. And I was looking for a pattern where I could use mini skeins. And so I came across Andrea Mowry's Shiftalong, which was a hat, like a knit-along hat that she did with her Shifty pattern. So I guess she designed the hat. She always does a knit-along, I think Thanksgiving weekends, where you knit something in like 4 days. And so a few years ago, this design was her knit-along pattern. And it's based on her Shift cowl, and she's got a shawl, she's got a pullover, she's got a cardigan, and this is her hat. And so I was looking for a project where I could use my naturally dyed mini skein sets, and so I made this cute little Shifty hat. I have not blocked it yet. I only just finished this recently, but it's really, really pretty cute. This is using the Quintessential Autumn mini skein set in my shop. So this is number 13. And then I had enough yarn left over. I just actually finished these yesterday. I think I woven the ends. Again, I haven't blocked these yet, but I had enough yarn from this mini skein set, which was a total of 6 different colors. So it was 120 grams total in this set. Some of my sets only have 100 grams in 5 colors, but this is a 6-color set. So I had enough left, and I came across a pattern called Post Shift Mitts by Leigh Knits, and she actually designed this cute little pattern after she knit the cowl version of the Shift and had a bunch of yarn left over that she wanted to use. And so this is from the same mini skein set. They're not exactly twins. I did things just a little bit differently with the order of my colors at the cuffs. For the second mitt, I kind of forgot to knit a little bit of extra of the purple when I got to the thumb on this one. So they're a little bit different, but I've always been saying I need to knit myself some fingerless mitts because I'm always so cold. The building that I go to work in is always freezing cold, and I am a flutist, and so I'm teaching flute, and so I need to have access to my fingers, but my hands are still so cold. So these are really, really great. I can play my flute in them. Haven't done that yet because I just finished them, but I'm excited to get there. And so I made this hat and these cute little mitts, and this is all my naturally dyed yarn. The oranges were done with the sassafras bark, so the same like dye material as the pumpkin. And there's some brown in the hat, which was done with black walnut exhaust bath. And then all the other colors were different types of mushrooms, actually. The green and the purple came from mushrooms. So I'm really excited about this set. I just need to do more like quick projects like this. Okay, and so number 15, we're kind of like, as this stands, so I am recording really late Friday night, really early Saturday morning. It's after midnight, so we'll call it December 30th, but it's like the night really of the 29th. I should be sleeping now, but I'm recording. But I have time, is what I'm trying to say, to actually make this a complete finished object. So one of my other lingering whips, I can't remember when I started this, if I had started it in 2022 or if this was a new project that I started sometime in 23. I actually can't remember. But I, for the longest time, for so many months, have had just a single checklist of birds sock done for my husband. He's got such big feet. Oh my gosh, it's like practically, I always say this, you guys have heard this a lot if you've watched my videos, but we're in Christmas season right now. You may as well like use this as a Christmas stocking. It's so big. He's got size 12 feet, you know, so when you're using fingering weight yarn and he wants his socks full length, not ankle length, it takes a while. And so these were also toe up, and I talked about it in my last podcast, how these are my first pair of toe up socks. I have knit so many socks over the years, but always cuffed down. So this was the first time I did a toe up pattern, and I just, from the first sock, whenever I started it, I remembered it being super finicky. It was with, you know, like Judy's Magic Cast On or whatever. It really wasn't that bad, but that is really what held me up from starting sock number 2. And I'm going to go ahead and just say that now we are 3/4 of the way through, and I've got Saturday and Sunday before 2023 is over. So I think that I can have his socks as my last finished object of 2023. I don't have that far to go, you guys. I really don't. So I'm gonna make it happen. I am putting this out there. This will not linger into 2024. They will be finished. I don't block my socks. I just hand it to him. He wears them once and then they get washed, and that's how I call socks blocked. I don't block socks. What's the point? I mean, I guess if you're gifting them and you want them to look super nice, but at this rate, I knit my husband just like 1/2 of a pair of socks a year, so he's pretty happy for me to just give him the socks when they're done. So I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I went super fast. I'm feeling really chatty and happy to be back sharing with you on my channel. 2 videos recorded in 1 week. Who am I? I'm back. I'm happy to be here. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Again, it's my favorite video to film every year and just feel like I actually did knit some stuff. So let me know how many objects you finished knitting in 2023. Did you participate in the goal of trying to knit 23 in 23? And how far did you get? So my number was 15. I'm definitely going to be doing a goal of knit 24 in 24 because that's like a nice even 2 a month. And I'm going to choose some smaller projects with maybe just 3 or 4 big projects sprinkled in throughout the entire year. Make it much more manageable for myself. So leave me a comment, tell me how many objects you finished knitting, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Again, I'm happy to be back, and I definitely have some WIPs, so I will be sharing those in a video early in the new year and making my official goal list for 2024. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye-bye.